Hello, hello, friends, and welcome to the 22nd episode of Dust Jane's Anti-Imperialist America. Have a busy day today, a lot going on. I'm leading a study today to 8 p.m. on history of the three internationals with my good comrade David Fox. Don't miss that, live from this channel. A little bit of unexpected, really good news. Live from this channel, I will be interviewing vice presidential candidate for the Green Party, Angela Walker. I'm super excited here. A fellow worker, working class, fellow truck driver, living in the South, currently, strong activist. She added me on her personal page a while back. Fiery, anti-imperialist stuff only somebody from the working class can understand and put out there. And I'm so glad to have her. That on here interview most likely about 6 o'clock. So we're gonna have an interview at 6 o'clock. Then we're having the study at 8. I'm also doing my regular weekly update, Anti-Imperialist America. I got it real quick today. Probably won't even go an hour. I'm almost going to quote verbatim for my introduction. I am going to quote almost verbatim a section from Caleb Maupin's live on Monday. I believe it was Monday. I'm not sure. That I found absolutely inspiring and amazing. And I touched on these issues. I touched at it, but I really didn't grasp the concept like he did. I touched on my last live. So I'm just going to get right into it. Nelson Perry, great African-American revolutionary, wrote Black Radical, The Education of an American Revolutionary. And in his writings, he wrote, the revolution happens in 3 phases, or 3 processes. First is the economic revolution. A new class is developed, like the American Revolution. The new class was the colonialists, George Washington, the banking class here. That was a new class. They kicked out the royal ruling class. That was a new class. But it took a social revolution, which in the United States was the American Revolution, to build up the force and the power and the understanding and the ideology to build the force that was necessary to kick out the British. And then, so first is the economic revolution, then comes a social revolution, and thirdly comes a political revolution, which is the political change. So I mentioned the first American Great Awakening, which was a largely, up to that point, was a religious happening, a religious organization, a religious understanding. And religion is really, in my understanding, is really it's human understanding. It takes shape. Human understanding takes shapes in the form of religion, and the forms of religious institutions. It represents the time, that time that's happening. So the American Revolution had the first Great Awakening, first the development of the colonial class here, then the first Great Awakening, and the American Revolution. The second Great Awakening, which one of my ancestors took part in, Ashel Nettleton, converted 30,000 souls to the church at that time. If I could convert 30,000 people away from the bourgeois mindset, away from blaming working class people, away from praising our oppressors and exploiters. If I could convert 30,000 people to that, that would be a good life's work. My ancestor, Ashel Nettleton, converted 30,000 people to the Second Great Awakening. And the Second Great Awakening religious movement is what influenced the abolitionists and the people who pushed for the moral understanding, the ideological understanding, the push for the Second American Revolution. The Second American Revolution was the Civil War, the destruction of the backwards, disgusting system of slavery in this country. And it took communists, generals like Augustus Willich, who actually was somewhat left adventurous to Karl Marx and competed with him, but he's from that same tradition of Karl Marx. It took abolitionists, it took slave revolts. There was a social upheaval, organization, revolution that took part. It wasn't just the industrial capitalists who actually were backwards. The industrial capitalists kept saying that the Second American Revolution, the Civil War, wasn't about slavery. It was the people and the social changes and understandings that pushed to get rid of slavery, which was holding everyone back, which was lowering the labor market. And lastly, the period we are in now is the Third Great Awakening, the Socialist Great Awakening, not a religious movement. Society is moving away from religion, although it is very much a part and should be respected in many people's lives. But society overall is moving away from religion. And we need a political, moral understanding that evolves beyond capitalism, the oppression of capitalism. I'm jumping around a bit. We already have had, so revolution comes in three parts. First, the economic revolution, then the social revolution, and then the political revolution. We've already been through the economic revolution. The current economic revolution is the age of the computer revolution. As my esteemed guest, you can refer back to that interview with Daryl Waistline Mitchell, called The Transition from the Transistor to the Microprocessor. We're going through that revolution. It's making it where large portions of the working class are no longer needed in the economic system. We're being pushed out. And we're seeing a growing low-wage police state. They don't have any jobs for us. The jobs they have for us are low wage, no benefits. They continue to take away our public services. This has already occurred. We can no longer believe the lies, the bourgeois lies, that somehow this is the greatest country on earth, that somehow it will eventually get better. We can't. We can no longer do that. We need a social revolution to lead to a political revolution. This is what I'm doing. I am an advocate of the Third Great Awakening. I am an advocate of getting socialism, scientific socialism, in as many hands as possible. It's a great introductory book, Wage, Labor, and Capital. I'm doing an audiobook. I haven't finished it. I've started it. The Foundations of Leninism by J.V. Stalin. We need a third great awakening. We need more people understanding socialism. We have to start to build community organizations. I want socialists to be just like religious groups, to be going door to door. I want socialist billboards on the highway. Have you heard the good news? Socialism is coming. a new world. We're no longer subjugated, and it's going to happen. I'm glad to be in this time period of growing social understanding. I have a I would like to lay out a 3-point plan for the coming Third American Revolution. The Third American Revolution will be the destruction of imperialism, the destruction of what people call neoliberalism. My 3-point plan consists of three things. Number one, end to war. An end to war. An end to the economic and political war against the people of the world and the oppressed people here at home. This is a dismantling of the military. This is getting rid of the CIA. This is getting rid of the exploitative trade policies like NAFTA that impoverish southern Mexico. And the reason why many of my working class brothers and sisters are here in this town was because of unfair trade policies like NAFTA that force people into poverty. We're going to dismantle imperialism, dismantle the war against the people of the world, and dismantle the war against the people at home. Getting rid of all over 700 military bases. Stopping the CIA from carrying out coups like they did in Honduras, which also destroyed that country and sent people here. These wars, these CIA-backed coups, these meddling in other people's affairs for the interests of the U.S. exploiting the world over has had to stop. You have to dismantle these institutions, get rid of them. Also, dismantling of the war against the people here. A war against the exploited, oppressed, and colonized people here. This includes a dismantling of the police department as it currently exists, or replacing it with an institution that can carry out the responsibilities of the police, stopping crime, stopping crimes, protecting people, can be done by a community controlled institution. And a lot of what the police does can be replaced with social services, mental health processes. Also, against the economic war against the people, particularly the economic war against colonized people, African Americans, Chicano, the larger Raza population. Getting rid of economic policies, like the continuation of redlining, over policing, segregated schools, predatory loans, payday loan places, food deserts. This is a war against colonized people, the lack of infrastructure. And again, this is a war against the working class, a dismantling of these war institutions, an end to war, an end to the war against the people abroad and the world over, and an end to the war against the colonized people and working class here. The second stage. So the first point that I think is necessary in the coming anti-imperialist, socialist, American socialist revolution is first ending the wars abroad and at home, and also taking back our resources. Second, this is the second point, nationalization of our resources in this country, nationalization of oil, gas, timber, nationalization of the banks. Banks can be run through the post office. And the first point about ending war is impossible without simultaneously or first dismantling the power of the banking class, the power of the oil companies that run and control this country, that who it is in their interests that us working class people, poor black and brown people, go and die in these wars to oppress other poor black and brown people. It is impossible to address the issue of war without taking the power, forcefully removing the power from the imperialists. And that means removing the oil resources, the timber, the oil, the gas, the banking system, and putting it into the hands of the people. Nationalization of our resources is absolutely necessary at ending the wars. It's good that people are promoting ending these wars, but these wars are just a reflection of the political disparity of those of the banking class, the imperialist class, without removing their power, without threatening their power, without taking their economic resources back. They're going to continue the wars. They're going to use their power to continue the wars and do what's in their interests. So we have to nationalize these resources. I think the Post Office Union is one of the most advanced working class unions in this country. And they have proposed doing post office banking. This means getting rid of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is unconstitutional. It is a way they create money, loan it to us at interest. And then you have a series of private banks at the higher level, all the way down to the payday loan place, charging hundreds of percents of interest to working class people, taking money out of the community. Nationalize the bank and decide. Have a government controlled by the people, deciding where these loans are going to. Put them in small business. Put them in new technology. Put them in things that advance our society and grow our society. And lastly, the third point, building up and investing in this country. A public mass works program. Investing and recreating of quality, universal institutions, education, healthcare, transportation, housing, an economic bill of rights, full employment. That is the third point that is necessary for the third American Revolution, the socialist American Revolution that is coming. 3 points. End the war, nationalize and control our economic resources, and build up infrastructure that improves our lives. Simple, clean cut, to the point, 3-point process. And in that nationalization of resources, I think it's absolute must that we nationalize the banks, the energy companies, the steel manufacturers. But we can still have hotels, restaurants, that can all be run on the market sector. We need to do what works. We can study that works. A scientific government. So people say government doesn't work, it's inefficient. Well, how do they run things now? They run things now off the profit basis, the profit incentive. They run it scientifically, only it's run in corporate boardrooms. It's run in corporate boardrooms with people that analyze the data on a scientific level. They analyze the data, they use that data to run that company for the benefit of profits, for making profits. When we nationalize oil, gas, major industries like steel, transportation, etc., we do the same thing. We run it on a scientific level. We analyze the resources. We see what works. We see what doesn't work. Only we use that knowledge and run those companies for the benefit of the people and growing the economy, making lives better for people. That's a bit of my introduction. I might cut it short this week. Like I said, I got a lot on my plate today. We're doing the study at 8 o'clock. Again, I'll repeat some of the announcements. We're doing the study of 3 internationals with Comrade David Fox at 8 p.m. live from this channel. I'll also be interviewing activists, revolutionary, fellow co-worker, fellow driver, working class, queer, African American, vice presidential candidate for the Green Party, Angela Walker, at 6 p.m. live from this channel. Also, a quick note: if people have noticed, I have uploaded. I was given the gracious privilege from comrade, revolutionary poet Matt Cedillo, has allowed me to archive his study, The Poet and the Professor. Co-hosted study. I will also, tomorrow, I will be interviewing his co-host, Dr. Jose Prado, I believe. I'll be interviewing him live on this channel at, let's see, I believe at noon. I'm not sure. Let me see. 10 or 11. I will be interviewing, I'm not sure about the time tomorrow, but I will be interviewing Dr. Jose Prado, who takes part in that amazing study. I recommend people look at that study. It's up in 12 parts, already on this channel, and there's links in there to the original. You can go in there and continue the conversation in the comments. Great. It's over 12 hours now, already up. And on that link, you can follow Matt Cedillo on Facebook and join them live from his Facebook page every Monday, discussing capital, largely from the Chicano Mexican American perspective, working class perspective. Great study. I'm glad to have it here. Go back and watch that. Follow Matt Cedillo. And I recommend getting his book, Matt Cedillo's Mowing Leaves of Grass. Amazing poetry, full of history. Like, these poems are so dense. You have to read the poems, and then you have to go and get a history book or an encyclopedia. Well, now we have internet. You have to Google half the stuff he's saying, unless you're deeply familiar with the Chicano people struggle. You got to go in and read about each one of them. And then after you read and do a little bit of study, you start to see how beautiful his poems really are. And you can message Matt Cedillo. He's selling them on his own. He's hustling them. He's hustling them out there. He's slinging them. This book from his Facebook page, and you can message him there and get a copy of your book. Me and my wife have really enjoyed it, and I'll be posting. I think that study is going to continue on Marks. I'll continue to post after I suggest people go on there and take part in the live study. Follow Matt on Facebook. Take part in the live study, and if you miss it, you can also come here and I'll post that study afterwards. I like to read comments. I probably won't go more than half an hour. If people got a question to put in the comments right quick, I'll address the comments and go into my closing remarks. Pat, greetings, comrade from the Midwest. Love your show. Thank you. Jameson M, know your poor beard. It was getting too much. I mean, I would like to be sharp. I would like to be taken seriously by working class people. Socialism needs to go door to door. Only people going door to door right now are religious people, and they wear suits. They take care of themselves, and they go out like that. These petty bourgeois leftist meetings where people show up in rags and think that's so cool, it doesn't appeal to the working class. That's what I'm trying to do. Um, Joking, you look sharp. Well, thank you. Itzla Gatica. Hi, Dustin. Hey, everyone in the chat. Um, Isla Gatica, looking handsome. Thank you. Proletarian Guard. Good morning, comrades. Isla Gatica. I'm loving the videos you uploaded of the poet. Very, thank you. Those are great. Like I said, I'm interviewing Jose tomorrow morning. Just the way he talks, it's like it almost seems like he has a stutter, but it paces the way he speaks, and then you listen to it for a few minutes. It seems simple. It seems simple. It builds up, and then like 10 minutes goes by, and you're like, whoa, holy crap! I see what he was doing there. Your mind is just blown. Like amazing professor studying Marx. I love those studies. People in command instead of prophets. Right on, Proletarian Guard. Red Dundanian. Hi again, Dust. Have to leave for a while. What did I miss? You can go back and watch anytime. Matt's Los Angeles is full of pigs is an incredible poem I found on YouTube. I actually like his Fuck Trump poem, to be honest with you. There's a lot, I mean, it seems vulgar, but it has a lot of historical depth and anger and understanding. Brilliant poet. I okay, IDKY. Why I can't pronounce that name. They don't look serious enough. Okay, I mean, Isla Gatita. I know what you mean. Jose and Matt, two incredible minds applying Marxism to the Chicano struggle. I said this on my Facebook and Twitter. What is considered ethnic studies is a part of the story in this country. And what is being taught in the school systems is a distortion of history. And the struggles of oppressed and colonized people in this country should be when the working class has power over the educational system, and the educational system is equally funded on a federal basis, equal quality free education at all levels. We should teach the history and understanding of oppressed people to all students because it is a part of the history of this country. Well, I'm going on 28 minutes. I usually go an hour, but I got to start studying for the study tonight. 8 o'clock, join me back here, 8 o'clock, with Comrade David Fox, History of the Three Internationals. Glad everyone joined us, and as always, all power to the people.